Our assassin is in a private underground room discussing strategy with Ripley about the latest target, a diplomat, Xanatos Alderwig, who will be travelling to the capital. Our assassin is tasked to ensure not only that he kills his target, but that his death should be public and spectacular. He has 2 weeks to scout out and plan. His first order of business is to investigate the carriage company that the diplomat will use. He then reconnoitres the route that the diplomat will take, as well as learning more about the towns along the way. He procures the trappings of a beggar and spends some time in Cauldron to spread rumours about Xanatos and riles up the locals, just in case he needs a religious riot later on. He then returns to Tassel to set his primary plan into action. He manages to create an opening at the carriage company and gets himself hired. He then ensures he is the one to drive Xanatos' carriage. When the day of the journey comes, he poisons the guards' horses so they underperform during the journey. So far, everything is going according to plan, and they start the trip with no one suspecting that the carriage driver is an assassin. When he judges the time is right, our assassin initiates his plan, and it all goes smoothly. Well, almost. The knight escorting the carriage manages to push his horse and jumps into the moving vehicle. This is not ideal for our assassin, who does not appreciate fair fights. The fight gets desperate, and for a moment our assassin nearly falls onto his blade, but manages to win out at the last second. With the guards taken care of, our assassin douses the carriage in lamp oil and sets it ablaze. Will the flaming carriage attract enough attention? Will the religious riot ever be used? Who is next to die? Find out now on Assassin.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to Assassin. Rob, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Pretty good. You know, it's the middle of summer here, but it has been raining and thunderstorming like every day for the past couple of weeks, and it's just fantastic. I really like the rain.
Excellent. And that thing cleared up?
That was supposed to be a private matter, Rob, that I was confiding in you about. Definitely not meant for public television.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
thank you.
That thing being, Congress?
Assassin, how's your week been, Assassin? Unnamed Assassin.
My week has been okay. Still doing school. Still, it's hard to believe that in a month I'll be done.
In a month, people will trust you to solve their problems?
People are trusting me right now. It's really weird. Doing my internship, to all of you out here on the channel right now, spread the word. Why would you trust me? You saw what I just did with Neil here.
You can't trust Rob with your deep, dark secrets. Lovely, lovely. Well, we have a big mission ahead of us today, so why don't we hop to it? So we're going to start with you meeting in that small tea shop just outside of Confluence, where you started your very first mission. And right there with you is your watcher, Ripley, here to help you with everything. I think the two of you are sitting down at that same bar. She's leaning against it and facing the open street, while you're facing the bar with your back to the open street, so you can cover all the angles and see if anyone is approaching who you might not want to hear your conversation. Ripley is dressed as a messenger. got a little side satchel filled with scrolls that are almost bubbling out of it. She's got dusty clothes, a long cloak, a fairly large hat to keep the sun off of her. And, you know, her shoes are all tattered and mud-stained, and she's got an exhausted look on her face, which could be part of the act, or maybe there are other forces at work that are exhausting her. But the two of you are sitting in a tea shop outside of Confluence. She says to you, good job on your last mission. Things seem to have gone very well. I've received word that the capital is in an uproar, and that the Mistrayans are very displeased. Word is hard to get out of there, but there's been talk of violence between the nations, and I think that's wonderful.
Yes, politics, such an ugly game, these chess match between the nobles.
Well, we are certainly here to help it. Your next mark will be Ali Sanguine. And if the name Sanguine sounds familiar, because that is indeed the Queen's family. Ali is a slightly older, distant, not that distant, cousin of the Queen, and a upright citizen of the world, and a paladin of the god Astaire. She also happens to be the one who was coming to interrogate our dear friend back in the dungeons of High Castle, for he unfortunately killed himself.
Almost like an old friend that I've never met.
Yes, one could say that. We've tested your abilities in many ways. I think this will be your most difficult job yet. Ali is a formidable fighter in her own right, capable of calling down divine magics, healing the sick, curing diseases, poisons. And she has a trusty watchdog with her. I'm sure you'll succeed, but out of all your jobs thus far, this one will require the most care.
As far as medicines, I may need some for that dog.
Of course, of course. Or more exotic poisons, medicines, have been arriving and will be here shortly. Draw up a list for you.
Good. The dog seems to have a... In fact, it has an unfortunate condition of breathing, which would probably be best to end with the right medications.
Of course. You know how dogs snore so loudly at night. Would be probably good to quiet it down.
Yes.
Excellent. Well, there's just one small kink in the plan. I believe Ali is aware that someone is after her. She's changed up her movements and her actions and has mentioned to Formants that she is waiting for someone. I think it's you.
How would she have any idea that I'm after her when I had no idea but 10 minutes ago?
She is a paladin of the god Astaire, of law Order. Diametrically opposed to our most beloved of deities. I'm sure something on the celestial level has been going back and forth between the two of them, and Stair has informed his loyal servant that she may be in some level of trouble. But whether she has a heads up or not does not matter. Right?
No, it's simply something to be accounted for.
Good. Good.
Dang, it suddenly occurs to me I haven't looked at 5e paladins detect evil at will.
I don't think so. I think that stopped in 2.
Okay. Because dang, that's going to complicate things. If so, I couldn't remember though.
Yeah, I think now they just like cure diseases and poisons at will. I mean, as long as they have enough channeled, enough lay on hands.
Yeah.
Out of character, you're gonna want to be able to know what paladin abilities are, so that way when you see her use one or whatever, you might know what level she is, which will be important. Yeah, I don't see any.
Okay, yeah, it was just that's such a standard, iconic paladin thing. I was starting to think, wait, they must still have that ability.
Yeah, you can. It's divine sense now. Until the end of your next turn, you know the location of celestial fiends or undeads within 60 feet of you that are not behind total cover.
Oh, perfect.
You are
none of those that I'm aware of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. So I can try to lay up to her.
Yeah. If you think you can play up a paladin. High charisma. Probably good for sorts of abilities.
All right. How long do I have to make this happen?
We have plenty of time. About a month. 30 days.
And is this to be widely seen as the last task was?
Yes. We need to undercut the people's faith in the Order of Paladins. It needs to be clear that the world structure that has been so very oppressive is being upturned wholly, not just in part. Everything needs to change, and the people's faith must be tested, and the paladins must be seen to not be the unstoppable juggernauts that people believe they are. The pendulum has swung well out of balance. It's time for you to fix it.
People must be made to see that order is oppression.
Yes.
That these they hold up as heroes are merely tools to keep it that way.
Yes.
Very well. I shall endeavor to find out what I can about this alley and see how this best can be done.
She nods.
Is there anything else? Any resources at my disposal?
You have the tools that you have. Although, in a month or so, we should be getting an immovable rod. for you to use. But that won't be here probably until after you're done with Ali Sanguine.
Undoubtedly, this won't take me a month.
Good. Excellent. I'll be around if you need anything. Find me here at the tea shop.
Of course. I'll keep you updated as to my progress once I know more.
Of course. You'll find her somewhere in Confluence. Somewhere.
Well, then I'd best get to it. Down by the docks, I assume?
I must admit, one of our reconnaissance members has gone missing. Her location is unknown, as is Ali's. Whether she was caught up and found and brought down, or has been otherwise compromised, or whatnot, I'm not sure. But looks like you're going to have to find Ali's home, or temporary home, on your own.
Is there anything I should know about this scout that I run into?
She shakes her head. No. No. I doubt you will see her. She's not the sort of thing that you typically see. You know what I mean?
Oh, for some reason I was thinking the docks. Confluence, the actual town. Okay. Yeah, I was like, okay, yeah, why was I saying docks? Alright.
So this here is our map of Confluence. You've been here before. It's a nice, small little town. You know that the inns in town are right at the front of just across the bridge. But it is there's plenty of buildings around here, so she may not be in those inns. She could be somewhere else. Well, let's start it. Where do you go? What do you do?
Well, first thing is to find a home temporarily here. So I'll go to those 2 inns.
You've been to the Forester before. You've stayed at the Forester before. Is that where you want to start off?
That's where I'll go for now, and I'll be my bard again. Okay. So I can't remember my bard getting into any trouble here.
Right. All right, so you make your way down to the Forester and go on in. There are the innkeepers and the bartenders and the cooks and everything as well, busily working away.
All right, I'm going to... Oh, you're zooming in here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to head to the barkeeper.
Mm-hmm.
Do I remember the barkeeper's name?
I don't think you do.
Okay. Is that because you don't have one?
I think it's because you don't remember the barkeeper's name. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking me if you remembered their name. So,
all right.
This has nothing to do with whether or not I remember the name. Clearly, the DM would never forget anything, any detail, no matter how small or large, about their NPCs. That's just not something that happens.
Bartender. That's so awkward to call you. What is your name, good sir? That would be more friendly.
Well, my name is Robert, but you can call me Rob.
Ah.
Mm-hmm.
A man whose name is also a verb. Quite virile.
Hey now. Wait, did you say quite virile?
Yes. Man of action.
Sure.
So much action, it even overflows into your name.
I see what you're doing there. I like you. Your drink's on me. And he pours you a drink.
So I was here before. I don't know if you remember. It was had a fine time. Played for a while. Would it be possible to trade music for room and board again?
Is that an arrangement we've had before?
Yes. You allowed me to play here?
Well, it must have been under our different circumstances. I mean, you can play, but I can't exchange it for room and board. You know.
Fair enough, fair enough. So it's been a good month since I've been here. What's new about town?
We have a new cider, a new apple cider. Mm-hmm. Yep. It's especially delicious. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Excellent fresh crop of apples, newly harvested.
I hope they're newly harvested. I mean, actually, technically, they're oldly harvested because they've been left to ferment. But yeah, fresh crop of apples, as fresh as you want them, which is not very fresh at all.
All right. How much for a private room then?
That'll be 4 silver a night.
Done and done. I'll put down the 4 silver. I'll pay for a meal.
Mm-hmm. Yep, it's another silver for a meal.
And I'll just sit and listen to the local talk, hear what I hear from other tables.
All right, why don't you give me... What's a good thing for overhearing? Other things. Some sort of like charisma-based skill to see what you can listen into.
Let's see, what can I justify for my characters? Do you want perception for listening? Do you want to investigate for... Although that would be me more asking things.
Yeah, let's just go with a perception, and we'll see how well you roll, and that'll dictate what you hear. Oh, wow. Starting it off nice and strong today, I see. Yeah. You overhear a few things of interest. There is a couple, a young couple, at the table right next to you that are eagerly talking about a certain paladin that has been seen in and about town. And they're kind of going back and forth, discussing the rumors that they've overheard and that their friends have told them. And they're also talking about how long it's been since they've seen each other, and, you know, time apart is such sweet sorrow and all of that jazz. But they keep coming back to, oh, but did you hear? And there are 4 rumors that you pick up from overhearing their conversation. I'm just going to give you the rumors rather than roleplay it out with myself, because that's just, no one wants to see that.
I do.
No real people want to see it.
Aww.
Mm-hmm. You're just an NPC. You're a fictional character, Rob. The first rumor...
I don't have a last name.
Exactly. The first rumor is that the paladin cannot swim and hates large bodies of water. The second rumor is that the paladin once convinced a group of robber knights to repent and turn to a life in the church. The third rumor is that she loves to take midnight walks down by the riverside. And the fourth rumor is that she is cousin to the queen, making her more well respected by nobility than the other paladins, which nobility tends to see as a threat, but not this one because she's related to the queen. You can judge the truth of these or try and, sort out details or whatever. But those will be the 4 rumors that you start with. I will copy and paste them to you as well for later assessment.
And Neil, I just thought I'd say, taking a quick informal survey of chat. Apparently, people would love to see you talking to yourself.
I haven't seen people say that, so you, sir, are fake news.
I'm reading it right there. You know, Neil, that could be a new show, a brand new thing, an adventure that's entirely NPCs. I don't think anyone's done it before. A D&D adventure.
Just no NPCs.
Play, just a DM.
So you just want me to like read a book to you is what I'm hearing. Well, I've got my Dragonlance books over here. We can start with the Dragons of Kryn, and I could just read to you the stories of I don't even know who's in this one.
I don't think it's reading. I think it's that people want to see you awkwardly trying to have conversations with yourself and realizing like you cornered yourself and now you have to come up with details to satisfy the thing that the NPC just said to the other NPC.
Well, if we're going to do it, then we should go big, and I should get, like, a second and third camera that faces from the sides, and that way I can talk to this one, and then, like, turn to this camera and answer as that person, and we'll just have to, like, get a full setup, and I'll just play all 4 PCs and the DM, and that's just how we'll do it.
You have different hats for each.
Yeah, and I'll, like, turn and put a hat on to play this character, and then a different hat for this character, and go back to being the DM and have to argue with myself back and forth. Yeah, that's definitely never, ever going to happen. Hopefully.
I don't know. I think chat, go put together a Kickstarter for that right now.
If you guys
can make this happen.
If you can get the owners of this channel, Wizards of the Coast, to sign off on that, I'll do it, but no one in their right mind would ever produce a show like that. It's insane. It would last all of half an hour before it would. I would have to stop. I can't. Yeah.
But what a glorious half an hour.
All right. So where were we? You were I got me all flustered. Oh, rumors. You overheard the lovebirds sitting at the table, missing each other, but then like, oh my god, did you hear about Allie Sanguine? She's in town. She can't swim, but she likes taking walks by the river. How can that be? If I was afraid of the water, I wouldn't be walking near it. Well, and it goes back and forth for a little while between them.
So this couple, they're getting married or something? Is that what you said?
They're not getting married. They're just like a young couple that are hanging out, late teens, early 20s sort of area. No wedding bands on either of them. She's been gone out of town for a while. He's been here working on the family apple orchard. That sort of thing.
Okay, well, that's too bad. I thought there was like fiancés or something, and I was going to suggest they get Allie to officiate.
Oh.
I assume she doesn't wear full plate when she officiates. Giant public murder in the middle of a wedding would be awesome.
That would be amazing. Wow. Maybe you can find a way to make that work. That's definitely not a strategy I thought of. I try and think of all the different ways that you could kill someone. Sessions take so fucking long to plan, and then you never go through any of the details that I start planning for. Like that last one, I spent like 12 hours making those maps, and you're like, no, I don't want to kill her in any of these interesting locations. I'm just gonna do it on the road where you don't have a map for it. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
I had the town, like riling up the town against the diplomat was my backup plan. I mean, I had a riot ready to roll when we got to that town.
Right. Anywho, enough of the monkey wrenches you put in my life. Let's kill some paladins.
All right. So I'm gathering this information. I'm not going to put any stock in the whole afraid of large bodies of water, given what happened to my predecessor.
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a callback to make me look foolish.
Me? Try and make you look foolish? By giving you half-baked rumors? No. No.
It was partially true. She's afraid of large bodies.
Yep.
She's been suffering from anorexia her entire life. It's a tragic thing, Robert.
I just thought you meant she was afraid of giants or something. Okay. Where are you going? How are you going to find where she is, and what other information you might need to bring her low?
Well, this is some good information to start with. I'll actually, when I overhear some of that, I'll go, a paladin. After what happened at what was the name of the place with the docks?
High Castle.
After what happened in High Castle, I didn't think people had much faith left in paladins.
They turn and look across at you and go, and one of them, the gentleman that picks at the apple orchard, leans on his chair and says, "What happened at High Castle?"
You didn't hear there was some paladin that everybody said was supposed to be cleaning up the docks? Turned out he needed more than a bit of cleaning up himself. Ended up killing himself because he couldn't even live with it anymore.
A paladin? Suicide? They exchange uncomfortable glances as if this is disrupting their view of the world. But that's... I haven't heard about that.
Not everybody knows this, but they found a journal afterwards that appears there was some things going on between him and some underage relative.
Looks of horror come across their faces. That can't be. How? No paladin of Astaire could do something so terrible without being... and maintain their paladin-y powers. That... Good God, Astaire would never imbue someone like that with divine powers. But that's got to be a bunch of bullcrap.
Unless the gods care more about their own power and the appearance of their priesthood than they do about others. Is it God?
Not the god of law and order, not Astaire, surely.
Sometimes gods care more about order than about what's right. About keeping everybody in their place.
They frown in unison at you, the way that couples do. And she gets up, head to the bar, and he drums his fingers on the table for a moment.
Just telling you what I heard. You can ask around. Like I said, the whole thing with the journal is not widely known. The nobility kept a lid on that, but you might hear something about that. Word does tend to get out.
He slowly nods and kind of gives you that look of, I'm not sure that I believe you, but I'm definitely listening to what you're saying.
And I'll say, even if you don't hear about that, it's definitely been proving that he's a regular customer at the brothel. Dies. Why would he need to disguise himself so well? Unless
the guy gets up.
He was a nobleman. Do you really think he could have had to pay to?
Noblemen disguising themselves? That doesn't sound too uncommon, but a paladin.
I'm just saying that why would a nobleman have to disguise himself to go have romantic trysts, I mean, they can get that on their own and have to pay for it, unless there was something. I'm just saying, unless there was something.
Maybe. Anyway, we're gonna go. He gets up and joins his girlfriend or whatever at the bar where they are ordering another round of drinks and an apple pie, and then go to sit on the other side of the bar away from you.
All right.
But you notice that as they're talking, that they glance in your direction, and you get the feeling that they're probably discussing everything you've just told them.
Okay. As long as, it spreads.
Mm-hmm.
Is planting...
Definitely. All right, so here you are in the Forester itself. You've been here one time before? Something like that? I don't remember. So we're down in the lower right building on this corner. As soon as Roll20 catches up, there we go. Yep, so here you are.
All right. Now, there's only 2 inns.
Mm-hmm.
And the other one is across the way here?
The other one is directly across the way, right above this warehouse, just to the left. The staircase at the north end of the warehouse leads to the inn section of it. The staircase right here. But the bottom layers are all stables and storage for crates and boxes and things.
All right. Maybe that'll be the first place I play then. Play of the land a bit. I'm going to go over there.
Hmm?
And how does the inn... Are there a lot of people in here? How's the situation in the common room?
Let's take a look. Actually, I think, in fact, that there is no common room to this inn. Yeah, it is just rooms. So, I guess the common room would be this place to the north. The common room is on the north side. The inn is built on the south side. I guess that's how this works. Yeah.
That is where I played before.
Yeah, that's how this works. Okay. So you can head over here, and it's filled with a couple of people here, a couple of people there. It's early-ish in the day, so just the people who have the day off or who make their days here are around.
All right. I will go... I'll go find the innkeeper.
You find the innkeeper. She is a young lady standing back here at one of these tables with at one of these tables over here with a few pitchers and some mugs nearby, just waiting for new customers to come in.
All right.
She gives you a polite curtsy as you approach.
Yo, innkeeper. That's so awkward just to call you innkeeper. What is your name? What may I call you?
My name is Roberta.
I had a feeling it would be.
Oh. Do I look like a Roberta?
No, it's just sort of the naming conventions of this town. I noticed the innkeeper across the way was named Rob.
Yes. Yes. He is... he's my father.
Ah.
Our family owns a monopoly on all the taverns and inns in this town.
Well, it seems the apple almost quite literally didn't fall far from the tree.
Ooh, well, thank you.
So, I wanted to ask, I'm a bard of some small skill. I have played here before, about a month back, if you would allow me to play music here again.
Of course! You are welcome to play, as long as you're not terrible. If you get booed off stage, we'll ask you to stop.
That seems more than fair.
Excellent.
All right, I am going to go ahead and play. I'm going to take a look at the crowd. I'll do the whole Vegas performer, like, get to know the crowd, or talk to individuals, or that guy knows, all that kind of stuff.
Like the lounge singer who like walks around with the mic and goes up to the various tables and chats with them, sort of thing, or
yeah.
No.
No, whoops, clicked the wrong thing. The performance.
That's a shame, because you could have persuaded someone really well to do anything at that level.
All right, so I still played reasonably well.
Marvelously. Yeah. Bring you into the inn somewhere. Oh, I don't think we've mentioned it, but you've also leveled up to level 5 and have all the things that come with that.
So I'm taking in different people here. After I play a set, I'll, say after 45 minutes, I'll take a break and sit somewhere and nurse a drink and listen.
Sure. While you are sitting down and taking a break and waiting and listening, in through the front door walks it's got to be the paladin. Who else would be walking around in half plate with a shield engraved with the holy symbol of a stair, which is a blue triangle with gold rings on each corner, with a large mastiff at her side. She and her dog step on in and take a spot at the front, this front corner over here. And as she sits down, she lights up a large curved tobacco pipe. One, maybe somewhere. And kind of strokes her dog lovingly. The barmaid, innkeeper, Roberta, comes over and gives her a couple of drinks and a polite curtsy and heads off. You notice the paladins picked the least crowded section of the inn to be staying in, or of the tavern floor to be associating in. And just hanging out there quietly by herself, trying to give everyone else their own space and whatnot.
All right. For purposes of justifying me standing around in one place, did purchase a pipe and tobacco. If we all remember, that's canon. So
I do remember that, actually.
Yes. So I will, not even looking over at her, take out my own pipe and not be paying attention to her, just
doing your own thing.
Yeah. And listening in on what anyone might be saying. Does her appearance, because we're on the far side of the room, just to see, do people start gossiping about her or saying anything about her? Just she's now made herself a topic by walking in, that they're far enough away that they feel they can gossip about her without being heard.
No, there's the two people at the table you're standing at are the people you could easily overhear. Let's see what they're saying. They're both sitting quietly by themselves, saying and doing nothing. Just sitting, thinking, drinking, reflecting on life.
Or on why they're doing solo day drinking.
Or on why they're doing solo day drinking. Reflecting on life is often, a matter of what have I done wrong? How did I end up here? Is this really where I want to be? That sort of thing.
Is it too late to take that stenography course?
It's never too late to take that stenography course.
All right.
Today's episode is brought to you by the Stenographers of America. They're a very powerful organization.
Yeah, stenographers, we know what you did. It's all written down right here.
They're very dangerous sort of people to interact with. They keep meticulous notes. They can always find out, every little misplaced detail.
All right. Being a bard and these people being uninteresting, I am gonna kind of go around. Sure, some of these people were already here when I played. I'll say hi. Did you enjoy the set?
Oh, it was quite good. Fantastic. Very solid.
Thank you. And I'll sit down with them for a little while and see what they are talking about.
They are talking. Excuse me. They're talking about the apple pie and how amazingly good the apple pie is. And that's when the gentleman with the green cloak to your right says, "But listen here. As one thing I've never, in all my years, been able to figure out. Why do people put cheese on apple pie? It seems ridiculous. Who would ever put cheese on a sweet pie? Like, how did that become a thing, even? Bard, do you know? You've traveled the world, probably more than any of us. Do you know why people put cheese on their apple pie?"
It all goes back to a tale where two people were walking towards each other, each totally engrossed in what they were doing. One was eating a big block of cheese. The other was having a slice of apple pie. They were absolutely completely into this, staring down at their meal, and ran into each other, up into the air. Their food went flying, came down, it landed, the cheese on the apple pie, and one of them said, "Your cheese got on my apple pie." And the other one said, "Your apple pie got on my cheese." They each grabbed one half of the concoction and said, "Hey, tastes great together." And I just realized that everyone here is too young to remember that Reese's Peanut Butter Cup commercial. So you've got no freaking idea what I'm talking about.
No idea. I was like, this is interesting. Where's he going?
It's probably on YouTube. Look it up. Reese's Peanut Butter. You got chocolate on my peanut butter. All right.
But cheese and apples? Really? It seems like such a waste.
It's just one of those things that nobody would normally think of, but somehow it happened and now it's become common.
Like people who put salt on their watermelon?
Yes. Or this whole nonsense about dragons.
What do you mean?
Oh, just the whole story about big flying lizards and breathing fire.
What do you mean?
Well, just, that people think they exist.
Of course they exist.
Oh, you've seen one?
Not personally, no. No one, a few people live to tell the tale. But of course, they're proven to exist.
They are?
Of course.
How has that been proven?
I mean, have you ever seen a coconut?
Yes, actually. It was
have you ever seen
being carried by an African sparrow.
Have you ever seen a jackfruit?
I don't know what one is, so I couldn't tell you yay or nay.
So you haven't seen such a thing, but it does exist.
Does it?
Yes.
Have you seen one?
Yes. It looks like durian, but it doesn't smell like it.
Excellent. Then I believe you because I'm talking to a man who has seen one. Have you seen a dragon?
No, but...
Oh.
But I bet the paladin has. Hey, paladin! Hey! Have you ever seen a dragon? The person yells across the open bar. To which the paladin kind of raises her cup nicely and gives a nod. Goes back and sips her drink and smokes her pipe. The guy says, "See? Paladin's seen a dragon before."
Or was she just acknowledging you?
Well, why don't you go ask her yourself?
I mean, if she'd seen a dragon, then she's a paladin. She probably would have fought it, right?
I'm not here to make assumptions.
She'd probably be dead. But she's not.
Hey, paladin! Did you really fight a dragon? This guy needs to make a charisma check to see if he's pissing her off or not, though. Oh, actually, no. Not in the slightest. She seems amused by his yelling in the early morning. And comes on over with her dog. Okay. And she comes over and stands here. The dog plods alongside and plops down. And Allie says, "Why, yes, my good sir, I have seen a dragon, but I've never fought one before. I'm sure you all know of Nixia the Gold, who lives by the capital. We have spoken on a few occasions when I was with my cousin, Queen." And the guy goes, "See, this bard here, he doesn't believe in dragons. He says they're fake." And the paladin looks to you with a raised arches over her eyes.
They're just an archetypal story embodying various traits that we've inserted into our mythology in order to organize our world into something that makes some sense to us and yet has representative relevancy.
No, they're real.
Oh. I've never seen one. I've never heard. I mean, okay, you're saying you've seen one.
I've spoken with one. Yes. The Great Gold. Over by Stromheim, who lives in the lake. With the storm giants.
I look very skeptical.
You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. Don't waste your breath, gentlemen.
It's like the whole story, and I'll kind of wave my pipe around as I'm talking to kind of get the whole, hey, we're fellow pipe smokers things. Okay, like some of these stories, they can't be true. Like the whole story about how there were two towers forged of strongest steel, and then the dragon that came and melted them both. When everybody knows that dragon fire can't melt steel beings. That's been proven. It's just...
that story is not one I've heard of, but it's not just a matter of melting steel. Hot steel is soft and bendy. I once had my sword... I was battling a mind flare up in the Hemderkos Hills during the war a few years back. And a gnoll cast a heat metal spell on my steel sword. It didn't melt it and drip it into a puddle on the ground, but the center of it became very soft, and as I would swing it, the whole sword would bend in the wind like a blade of grass. Dragonfire may not melt steel, but it will soften it enough to render it structurally deficient.
Yeah, but see, heat metal, that's a provable spell that everyone is familiar with. I mean, we can go, find someone who can cast that right now.
DM checks his notes, because Rob is clearly asking if she can, and I think she can, but I don't actually know Paladin spell list that much. Moment. Paladins do not...
I don't think they do.
That is not on the Paladin spell list, no. She smiles and says, "Well, I'm sure if you went and politely asked Nixium, the gold dragon, to breathe fire on your sword, she would rebuff you and say that's ridiculous. I'm not going to waste my fire breath on your silly little ideas." But I can assure you, good sir, dragons most certainly do exist. You should travel the world a little bit more. There's a mist dragon out near Wake County. It's Nixium by the lake. There's Scoria the Red, who rules over Mistrea. There's a blue dragon whose name I forget in the Dracon Ridge, and the poor gnomes of Gnome have to deal with a green. The people of Matava deal with another green dragon. I think her name is Zorthis. And I think there's a brass one over in the desert near Weatherlight and Heatstroke. I do believe there's a black dragon somewhere in Akuba, or is it another blue? Something like that. There are many dragons about, good sir. Many.
They're all stories. I mean, everyone knows the story of the three goblins and the midwife, but that doesn't mean that there actually are three goblins who happened to misplace a child to go look for another one and then get it confused, put the goblin baby in with whatever. We all know the story. But I mean, that doesn't mean that it happened. Just a story.
I appreciate that you don't believe things that you haven't seen with your own eyes. The world were more... What is the word? Distrusting of rumors, it would probably be a better place. Idle gossip does tend to cause a lot of problems and mess things up. But there are many world experts on many things, many wizards and sages and mages and clerics and paladins who are authority figures that you should trust when they speak. So when I tell you, good sir, that there are indeed dragons and I have seen them with my very own eyes, you should trust me.
Okay, I'm in tone and everything. I'm doing my best to bring my charisma to bear and kind of let her know this is, somewhat in fun. And I'm going, I have seen plenty of paladins. I would say like maybe even 3% of them or possibly more who deny that dragons exist. Why should I take the word of 97% of paladins who say that dragons are real when there are a small group of paladins, often funded by Jaxel, the Lord of Lies, who say that, that there are no dragons?
I believe you answered your very own question right there. Jexel, the Lord of Lies.
Two sides to the story.
No, sir. No, there are not two sides to the story, and one should not trust the.
The faith is out. The faith is out on this. It's still being determined.
Well, I have taken a holy vow to bring no harm to the innocents, so I'm going to go back to my table before I break my holy vows.
All right,
with veins popping out of her forehead, she heads back to her table, counting her breaths.
I can't use charisma or persuasion to try to lighten the mood and make this more of an enjoyable.
Maybe you go. Yeah, you can definitely try. What do you want to try?
That's what I was trying to do, is make it sort of a fun barroom conversation. Just BSing and.
Oh, okay. She seems to have taken it a little bit seriously, as if you're questioning her entire world order, and seems troubled by what you're saying. But give me a persuasion check to pass it all off as just a funs time, and I will give her a roll some dice. Yeah. So what is it that you do to make it clear that you're just having a good time?
I'm just trying to make this like seem like just kind of a bar conversation argument that you have for fun, like whether or not dogs can look up.
Of course they can look up.
No, they can't.
Is there any question? Of course dogs can look up. How else would they catch
Dogs
balls that are thrown?
cannot look up. They have to like move their whole body.
No, they can definitely angle their head up.
No, they have to like move their whole body up. Dogs cannot look up.
We're gonna take a break, everybody. It's about time. When we come back from break, we will, I don't know, but someone go get me a video of a dog looking up, please. Please, if you have a dog at home right now, get it to look up and record it and just tweet it at me. I'm Koivu0 on Twitter. We've got to put this one to rest right now before anything happens. So we'll see you guys on the other side of a break. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Assassin. So you're talking with Allie, and the other people at your table, and a few other people have started to lean over and listen as well. 'Cause, you know, people are talking loudly about dragons, and there's a paladin involved, and it's a heated day in the tavern. Everyone's having a fairly good time. That's when Allie says, "Okay, mister, what did you say your name was, Bard? It's so awkward to refer to someone by their job title."
My name is Merrick.
Merrick? Wonderful.
Yes.
Merrick, I have a simple solution to our complicated problem. If you don't object, says, looking right at you, I can cast a zone of truth spell around us, in which no one will be able to tell a lie. And then I will simply tell you, I have seen a dragon, and you will know it is the truth, and then you will know they exist.
How will I know that you have in fact cast a zone of truth?
Do you think a paladin of a stare would lie to your face?
All right, go ahead. Let's see this here then.
She will cast Zone of Truth.
Can I do an assessment to try to get a sense of her spell casting abilities, what level caster she is, etc.?
Sure. So, let's see. Until the spell ends, the creature that enters the spell's area for the first time on turn starts turn must make a saving throw. On a failed save, the creature can't speak a deliberate lie while in its radius. So first off, give me the charisma saving throw. Your charisma saving throw. And we'll tell you if you pass or fail.
All right. Where?
That's not bad. Wow, that's fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah, you definitely pass the save. And
which is why that spell is useless. A spell that tells you that maybe someone's telling the truth or not, which is basically what you already knew.
Well, the caster knows whether each creature succeeds or fails on its saving throw. So Allie knows that you have rebuffed this magic and kind of like rolls past you, and that you can speak lyingly.
All right.
So give me that insight check as well. Ooh, very good. You will correctly get that she has a charisma of 17. At least 17, I should say.
Okay. Can I get a sense of what level caster she is?
Let's see. The saving throw was a 14. So let's do some math. The saving throws start at 8 plus proficiency bonus plus spellcasting modifier. So charisma of 17 is a bonus of 3, 8 and 3 is 11. If the saving throw was 14, then she would need a proficiency bonus of 3. Or for charisma's 18, she would only need a proficiency bonus of 2. So you've narrowed it down. She's got maybe a plus 2.
Is charisma the controlling element for her spells?
Yes, for a paladin, it is.
So wouldn't it be impossible for... Oh, no, it's 8. Sorry, that's right. 8 plus...
Right, it starts at 8.
All right, so she's got a proficiency bonus of 3?
If her charisma is indeed 17, if it's 18, then she could have a proficiency bonus of 2.
But I incited that it was 17?
You incited that it was at least 17. If you can get her to chat a little bit more, you could try and get another check on her. I think we said every 10 minutes of observation, you can make another check. So if you can continue chatting with her for another 10 minutes somehow, or oversee her talking with people for another 10 minutes, you can make another insight check.
All right.
Yeah.
So once I realize that I have passed that I've resisted her spell. I'll say, all right, then. You've cast Zone of Truth. I can't tell a lie. Anything I say must be true. So let me tell you.
She waves a finger in front of your face.
Were made up by big two-handed sword.
Clever, clever fellow. You seem well resistant to the influence of the Zone of Truth. You must be a remarkable fellow.
Or perhaps I'm the only one here who's willing to tell the truth about big two-handed sword. And I'm smiling as I do this.
Yeah.
And I try to do it in a way sort of like that she's in on the joke too, to make it a, try to make it a joke between us. We're having fun, not mocking her.
Right. So she's kind of sitting there, maybe clearly not as amused as you would like her to be. This person here is like not threatening her, but talking like she doesn't like making light of the situation, and she's sort of a, how do you want to say? I don't want to say stuck up, but the paladin who's very concerned about keeping everything on the straight and narrow, and these jokes about the truth of the world seem to be like rubbing her the wrong way. Even if they're like mild, dogs can't look up. She's like, no, of course they can. These are not truths that you are saying, and one must not speak untruly in life.
Has anybody sent you a video of dogs looking up, Neil?
I've had dogs in the past, and I am close with many dogs. Of course they can look up, Rob. Of course they can.
Can they, or are they just sort of moving their entire...
No, they can. They can.
This sounds like, translated, no one has sent you a video of a dog looking up.
I do not need a video, for I have enough personal experience with dogs in my life to know that, of course, they can look up.
Did they actually look up, or
yes, they did look up.
Was their head vertical, but their eyes were just sort of rolled upwards towards you?
Oh.
Why would a dog have evolved to be able to look up? Like to hunt eagles?
Of course they can look up. They can look for their prey, they can look in trees. How are they supposed to chase squirrels if they can't look up?
Do dogs chase squirrels into trees?
Yes, they do. They absolutely chase squirrels into trees.
These are tree-climbing dogs?
No, they don't climb.
They build their nests in the branches of the mighty pine?
Of course the dogs don't climb the trees. The
little
squirrels
chihuahuas
do.
up there.
The squirrels climb the trees. The dogs just run around the base over and over again.
So you're saying it can't get these squirrels? So
yes.
Why would it? Why once it's looking up does nothing for the dog except make it frustrated. Right there, evolutionarily, the dogs that can look up are going to get stressed. They're going to be more likely to die of heart disease.
The dogs who look up are more likely to see when the squirrel leaves the tree and be able to chase it, or see where it goes so it can chase it from tree to tree. The dog who looks up can catch the bird that falls out of the sky when someone shoots it.
These things are only useful to them when they're on the ground.
No. Anywho, your paladin seems a little miffed by your rebuffing of her spell, and she proclaims that dragons do exist. You proclaims dragons don't exist, and she was like, the spell means no one can tell a lie. And here are two clearly opposing pieces of information, and the peasants around this table don't really understand the intricacies of spells and saving throws and how one can shrug off magic if they try enough. And they're all looking like bewildered and confused, and what the fuck is going on here? What is happening? How are these two people saying opposite things in a zone of truth? is it really a zone of truth? And then once someone tries to say, you know, a falsehood and physically can't, and they go, oh my god, I can't, I must speak the truth. He nods. There's this one though. One here. Clever. Very, very clever.
I'm bound by the same strictures as anybody else here.
Tell me, Bard, have you encountered much magic in your life?
No. This is an amazing thing. Let me test this out. I am only moderately skilled as a bard. I am well endowed. Okay, well that one's
She gives a low growl and drums her fingers on the back of someone's chair. Well, Bard.
I mean, she must know that since I'm claiming to be a bard, that bard's primary attribute is charisma.
Yeah, and you're clearly a charismatic person that she's talking to, and she understands how this works, but the people at the table don't, and she can't, like, bust out a, you know, Magic 101 lecture for them right now. So she's just feeling... You can see the embarrassment on her face that this did not go how she was hoping it would. She's definitely looking for a way to, like, regain her dignity in front of this silly little bard who's just spouting the most ridiculous bullshit.
All right, I'll go on with a number of things like that, and then I'll go. Our companion here is sort of gesturing towards her. Is the most charming person at this table. Oh, okay. I guess that worked. Yes, it seems to be working.
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Oh, I just said that you're the most charming person at this table, and I see it. That we all agree that that's true. I say to the others.
Definitely, yeah. She's definitely the most charming person here.
Yeah, clearly the spell is in full function.
Oh, that is sweet of you to say, but my charms are not the things I value in myself. Bringing order and lawfulness to the world is my greatest desire. I would rather see everyone speak truthfully and keep the world order safe and sound than to be charming or enjoyable.
I think people underestimate the amount of order and comfort there is to be found in a good pipe, and I'll move my pipe around and take a good draw.
She'll raise hers in sort of like a cheersy sort of motion, and take a puff on her pipe as well. That, good sir, may be the first true thing you've said all day.
I'll get a little mischievous glint in my eye and say, "Oh, you disagree about which of us is the most charming person at this table?"
I have no opinion on that matter. But you're a clever man. Quick with your words. She pulls into her pouch and pulls out a gold coin and rolls it across the table to you as a tip.
All right, I'll hold up the coin and say, "Roberta, a round for everyone here at the table."
There is a happy applause and sounds of cheering at the table. Roberta goes and starts bringing more pitchers. Ali gives you a smile and a nod and goes to leave. You can go ahead and make me another check, another insight check, before she takes off. Nope, not quite good enough. She is going to take the drink and head back to her section.
Before she does, can I ask her what leaf she's smoking?
Yes. Yes, you can.
I figure if you want to engage a pipe smoker, ask them what they're smoking.
It is the red bushelberry leaf from north of Honeyreach along the Heart River. I believe the halflings over there produce the very finest crops in all of Arcadia, including their smoking leaves. What about yourself, good sir?
I'll say it's an indifferent brand that I, truth be told, I pay very little for. It was all I had could afford at the time. But is there a shop in town where something better can be found?
I wouldn't know. This was a gift from from a relative of mine. It was gifted to her by one of her associates or visitors. So it comes a long way through difficult to reach channels, unfortunately. But I would be happy to share some with you, she says, and reaches into a pouch at her side.
Okay.
And pulls out a pinch. I don't actually know anything about smoking
I know nothing
or
either.
smoking pipe tobacco, so I don't know what an appropriate amount to gift a person is, but she will take an appropriate, generous gifting pinch and hand it over to you.
Okay. I'll smoke it, appreciate it, and whatever she said about the like Oak Heart River or something. I forget what she said.
The Heart River over
Heart
in
River.
Mystria. Yeah.
And I'll just kind of make up some stuff about now. I'd heard that this is interesting. The flavor here. I had heard that the leaf grown along the Heart River was very robust, and I'll just throw around, as I'm asking questions about this, using
Right. So you can
words
engage
that
her.
seem like you would use them to discuss tobacco.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so you can definitely engage her in conversation for at least another 10 minutes about the various pipe weeds and smoking things and tobaccos and halflings and yada, yada, yada. So why don't you give me another check after another 10 minutes.
All right.
There you go. Yes, her charisma is exactly 17.
All right.
Which would mean that she has a proficiency bonus of +3, which would put her at level 5 minimum,
Yeah.
I believe. Let me double check over here, but I think it is... Yes, level 5 minimum. And it also would set a maximum, if the saving throw was 14, somewhere between level 5 and 8.
Yeah. All right, so I'm going to try to make up for before by really complimenting the tobacco and admitting this is quite good.
Mm-hmm. She smiles, is polite.
All right. Can I get her to just sit and converse and?
Yeah, you can sit and converse with her
not
about.
retreat back to her table. Okay.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
I'll say I'm not gonna specifically ask her questions, but I'm gonna try to steer the conversation into directions where I might get information. Like I'll mention, I'm not gonna ask her where she's staying, but I will talk about how I just came into town recently and I'm staying over at, whatever the name of the inn.
The Forester.
Yeah, the Forester. What the rooms are like there. So, basically, do a lot of, not ask her questions, but steer the conversation into places where it would be natural for her to supply
Sure.
similar information.
So why don't you give me a deception check to try and steer the conversation towards in rooms and where she might be. Oh my god. I will give her an opposed insight. I guess I would oppose her passive insight, which you beat handily. She lets you know that she is staying at the last home, that is the other inn that accompanies this common room, south of here and west of your tavern, rest of your place.
At a natural 26, can I even kind of get, by discussing the view, like which room might be hers?
You can get that she has a...
Can I discuss like the view towards the river and blah, blah, blah?
She mentions that she does not have a view of the river, but that she like enjoys the climbing of the stairs because she's on the 3rd floor and it's really, you know, there's nothing like a brisk walk in the morning or a brisk jog downstairs to get the blood going. I only wish that I could sleep in, 3 floors underground, so I would have to walk upstairs instead of down in the morning. That sort of thing.
Okay, I agree. There's nothing like brisk activity first thing in the morning after you wake up.
Most certainly. What other... I mean, you have her in conversation. What other sorts of information do you want to pry for? I can give you deception checks to pull for them.
All right, so that was the main thing, to see if I could get like her room. So I just got 3rd floor.
Yeah, 3rd floor and the inn in question. So that's a pretty precise location. There's what? Your rooms could possibly be in that inn.
Well, there's only 2 inns. So I'm going to, converse about why I'm in town, am I traveling, and see if I can get her to talk about why she's in town.
All right, give me another deception check. That does not go for it. She steers the conversation away pretty quickly. You're talking about why you're in town, and you ask why she's in town, and she immediately like...
I don't ask why she's in town. I specifically don't.
Right.
I try to do it as a... like if you start talking about your family, someone will start mentioning, oh, and I have a brother too. And blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. My brother also died in a parachuting accident. Blah, blah, blah. Right.
Vice President shot him in the face.
She doesn't take the bait. She listens to why you're in town and talks about it. And, oh, but have you heard this song from the people over in Clydesdale? They have this song about griffins and blah, 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 So she'll steer the conversation away and not take that bait.
All right, and I don't push it. I'm not...
Yeah.
If she's suspicious of assassins, I definitely don't want to be suspicious.
Anything else you want to try and get out of her? Or any other checks you want to make against her that you can think might work?
I'm going to... What I will try... No, I don't really care about that. That might raise her suspicion. Basically, I'm just sort of trying to end this on a note of friendly conversation where she would, like, if we happen to both be here eating a meal again, that she would sit by me.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, you can end it. You can draw the conversation to a polite close and...
Yeah, so just trying to leave like a pleasant taste, in her mouth of the conversation.
Yeah.
Lots of being amazed and surprised at her stories, etc.
Perfect. Yeah. As you make your polite excuses for leaving, she makes her polite excuses as well, telling her that it's time for her daily prayer. So she's off, and she takes her puppy with her. I guess he's not really a puppy, but her dog with her, and they depart the tavern.
All right. And which way are they going?
Out a little bit here. Where is my Language opera. Perfect. So she heads out of the tavern using the front door and goes and then just like heads up the main road towards the market in town.
All right. Bars following those. I'm going to go to the market. She's probably going to stay there for. Oh, I don't know if she's actually going to the market though.
Right. So
I'll go to my room. I will. In my room, I'm going to do a quick change, like reversing cloak, quick wig, just a very quick change with the disguise kit.
And try and catch up to her?
And then go stroll to the market. I'm guessing the odds are good that she went to the market, and that people are in the market. They're going to spend some time there.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping that a couple of minutes won't mean I lost her.
Sure.
And I'll go to the market to browse.
Okay. You will get to the market and will definitely have lost her by then. She's not in the market and not hanging out or socializing or shopping or anything like that. Looks like she was on her way through the market or to the market, but by the time you get there, just a few minutes behind her, she's no longer about.
All right, I'm going to stroll down first north, and I'm looking for just sort of anything that seems like it might catch a paladin's attention, be a destination that she might go. Like if there's a chapel, if there's an orphanage, if there's a noble's house, just sort of doing a reconnoiter to see like what are some possible destinations.
Sure, we're gonna go to the smaller version of the same map. It's a little easier to work with for this. So, why don't you show me where about the town you go? Can you draw on the map and just the paintbrush tool and kind of show me the route that you go or the areas that you would initially explore?
All right, if I can use it. So I'm gonna assume that maybe she went north, as she went straight up the road, and if she was going east or west, she might have not gone straight up the road. So I'm going to take this route. I'm going to stroll down to this intersection. If I don't find anything, stroll over to the other one.
Which way do you go first? Because I only see the end result, not as you draw.
Okay, I'm going over here first.
Okay, so to the right, and then to the left. All right, and while you're walking around, give me an investigation check to see if you can't find something that a paladin would be interested in around here.
All right, and as I said, my thoughts are religious institutions that would be compatible with the stair, noble houses, or an orphanage or something, depending on how charitable it would be. All right, so investigation.
Yeah. Pretty solid here. You don't see any churches or noble houses or anything like that. This area in and around here, oh look, we're both using red, is very slummy. It's not a particularly nice part of town. Actually, Ben's also there. But with your investigation check, you'll actually, as you get to this last corner over here, on the far left, you will see a group of beggars that have gathered around a single person who is standing, and they're all kind of looking down at the ground around this person's feet in an unusual way.
Is the person they're standing around Allie?
Nope. It's one of the beggars that lives in the slums.
All right, I'll wander my way over to them and sort of see if I can pick up what's going on.
Yeah, they seem to be looking at this person's foot because and just like looking in amazement at this guy's foot and talking amongst themselves.
All right, I'll walk up as they're looking at the foot. Is like this. The way you all were staring, I was expecting to see a sixth toe, a hoof. What are we looking at?
Oh no, it's not that. His foot, it's healed.
Yes, it's toed as well.
They give you looks of disappointment. You don't get it, sir. He was bitten badly by a snake earlier today, crawling through the bushes.
And it took off his sixth toe?
No, it was infected, and pussy and gross, and that paladin came through, and with just a touch of her hand, poof, totally healed.
Just how badly was it injured?
Bitten by a snake. Venom was flowing through it. Now, venom is gone and the foot is healed.
And it was cured.
That's what I'm saying.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. This paladin does she do that all the time? Is that she just goes around healing people?
They give a shrug. I don't know. She just showed up in town a day or two ago.
Huh. Which way did she go? You off to perform more prodigies?
They point to the north. She went that way.
All right. I will follow that way north. I want to see if she's doing any more.
So you head northward. Want to do some little markers as to where you're going and see what other investigations you can pull up.
All right. Let's see. This was at this intersection over here, right?
Yep.
I will continue north. I'll look both ways at the next intersection.
There's no cars.
I'm looking for paladins and/or dogs.
Oh, not looking for cars? Well, you should always look both ways before you cross the street anyway. It's much safer that way. There are no paladins nor dogs in either of those little dirty alleyways. They're not alleyways in that alley has gone here. They're non-alleyways. Is not gone here.
I'll take a peek down this next alleyway as I pass it.
She has not. This is not her place either.
The non-alley alley.
Yeah. Alleyless alley.
All right. I'll go up here and again check both ways. Is there an establishment perhaps for the knocking over of pins of the ball on one of these alleys?
Unfortunately, there are no bowling alleys in this alley. But maybe you could give me a perception check so I can tell you when you do see something, if you do see something at some point.
All right.
Okay, 11. Not too terrible. Good enough to see most common things that are out and about.
I mean,
so
the dog is going to make her stand out. Also being in armor.
Being in armor will definitely make her stand out. As we discussed, she is heavily armed. She's got a shield, she's got a weapon of war, she's got big, heavy armor on her. you would be able to ask anybody if they've seen a heavily armored person walking by, and they would very easily be able to point you in the right direction. But it sounds like you're trying to figure out where she is without talking to people.
For the moment, yeah.
Right.
So I don't see anything.
Okay. Nope. So you still see nothing.
All right. I'll go up to the next alley, or next path here. I'm getting sort of out of the town proper.
Yeah. You come up to this next section, and it's just some farmland, some whatnots. On the left side, there's a farmer, a few farmers working in the field with a dog nearby, kind of napping under a raspberry bush. On the right side, there's just a stable hand having trouble with a horse that doesn't want to plow the field, and they're busily working, and you see no sign of a paladin or another dog.
Right. I was going to say, you said there's a dog there. Does the dog seem excited or agitated, as it would be if another dog had come by?
I mean, this dog seems like it's napping under the bush. Probably didn't even notice anything walking around.
Oh.
Yeah. You keep going?
I will ask, I'll go back to that intersection over there.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anybody around, or like a shop? What is at that intersection?
No, this whole area is sort of just like slummy living. What is this? The dirty side of that road like? Let me take a look. Let's see, the paved streets down below are just the slums. The slightly nicer buildings that don't have paved roads are... What are we looking at here? Oh, so it's the shop on the right is a blacksmith's shop. As is the one on the left. Actually, technically, they're redsmiths, since we use this world is predominantly copper, bronze, and brass, and all that jazz. But a blacksmith and a redsmith, one on either side.
All right. Looking at those seems like a place a paladin might go to get things worked on. Do I see her in either one of those shops?
Definitely not. No. The smiths are there working with their separate forges, with their apprentices and whatnot. But there, you don't see any paladins loitering about.
I'm going to take a sheet of paper out of my pack, roll it up, hold it in my hand, not like crunching it up or anything, holding it respectfully. And I'll go to... are either one of these shops look like they're set up so that someone might have seen the intersection more easily?
I'm just going to bring you over to here. Come on down. This is sort of the setup of the shops here. You can see that the kilns are actually on the outsides, or the furnaces are on the outsides of where they would be working. Maybe this isn't a blacksmith. Maybe this is a potter on the left side and a redsmith on the right. That's actually what it looks like a little bit more.
Okay.
This looks like a kiln. This looks like a forge.
So it doesn't look like either people on either side would have seen...
No, I mean, there's a forging area right here, so it's quite possible that you could have had vision to whoever's walking in this area, or anyone that walked across you would be able to see.
All right. I'll go over to there, and if I see the smith, I'll approach respectfully.
Yeah, she's an older lady hammering away with the fairly thick, bulging muscles on her arms, and sparse gray hair up top. She wipes the sweat from her brow, looks at you and says, "What can I do for you today, sir?"
I'm sorry to trouble you. I was told to deliver a message to a woman with a dog and armor. Did such a person go by?
Most certainly. Most certainly. A woman with a big shield, a lovely sword, a fantastic breastplate. headed north just a moment ago. Was envying her armor myself. I wish I could make something like that.
Thank you. And I'll head off north at a good clip. I'm trying to catch up, which I am.
Yep, and you can just proceed northward. It's all sort of farmland out here.
Yeah. So I'll listen as I go to try to. I mean, I know her voice pretty well at this point to see if I hear a conversation.
You don't. Not with that 11 perception. You're walking around and you see no sign of her. No hide nor tail, nothing.
All right, I'll keep going north.
Sure.
And I'll, every time I get to an intersection, I'll try to find someone and do the same, delivering a message ploy.
Sure. Why don't you just give me a persuasion check and we'll see how successful you are at finding where she went. It is successful-ish. You will get that she has headed north. Hope you can see my arrows and everything. Along this road. Draw it with an extra large bright green brush. Up here, you catch that she went over here and through this like much smaller market, and then proceeded northward. And this intersection is about where she gets lost. At that point, the people in this intersection weren't around when she came out, apparently, but people in the market saw her head north, and then there's two roads out of here. This top one you've been through before. This leads to that Temple of Madrigal through the forest to the far north. This one on the left goes... You have no idea.
I'm gonna guess she wouldn't have gone east if she was just gonna go back west there. But I'm gonna keep going north. It's weird. She made a little detour off to the.
Well, there's no trail, right? Oh, what do you mean by detour?
Oh, what I meant that it seems like she was heading north from the big main market, but then she made a detour to the slums before.
Yeah, it would have been faster if we looked down south a little bit more. It would have been faster to just cut through this alleyway and head up. But she did take that other detour so she could walk through a greater part of the slums, it looks like. I mean, that may not have been her intention, but that was the results, that she ended up in the slummier slums than just cutting through it quickly.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and stroll all the way to the Temple of Madrigal.
Right. You make your way to the Temple of Madrigal, no problem. Let's bring us over to that viewpoint.
Keeping an eye out for her along the way, or any cured peasants or anything.
Okay. So here we are. Here you are at the shrine to Madrigal. You're on the outside, but you can easily come in through the double doors. If you'd like. Walk through the shrine. At the next set of double doors, you can hear voices from beyond, not beyond the grave, just beyond the door. And it sounds like there's a congregation in session. You haven't yet gone through the last set of doors, but you can hear the voices on the other side.
All right.
Do you want to go
There
ahead?
wouldn't be any reason for or would there be any reason? Is there any sort of relationship between the Church of Madrigal and the Stair?
Not particularly. They're both gods, of course. Let me just take a quick look at the deities here. Madrigal. Madrigal is the daughter of Martha and Nadinus. So she's not even like not even related to Astaire. She's not even one of Astaire's offsprings. I'm sorry. Yeah, Madrigal, the goddess of hope. Yeah. So I don't know. Hope is a paladin of law and order. Going to a shrine of hope would not be impossible, but there's not any obvious connections.
I will, just because I seem to have lost the trail, go in and take my hat off and try to respectfully sit in the back for a bit. And I'm going to try to scope out the crowd. I imagine in armor she's easy to pick out if she actually was here for something.
Right. Well, here's the temple. You can see those in the congregation, and there's the priest at the top, spouting lore about hope, and just talking about how as long as there is life, there is hope. The last thing in the world to die is always the hope for a new world and a new tomorrow. When everything is lost, hope fights on, and Madrigal teaches us this, not only through her words and wisdom, but through the very constellations in the sky, because she is the brightest star in the sky, and she always hangs nice and low. And when the winter ends and the darkness recedes, she's always the first star to rise in the late winter nights and the early spring. Yada yada yada.
This map's very intricate, well prepared.
Yeah, a lot of my maps that you never use are very intricate and well prepared.
That's true. This might just be left over from the very first adventure. And you're just happy to finally have it here.
I'm so happy to finally give it some more use.
Along with your Chanting Monks soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. Never get to play the Cathedral soundtrack. Thank you, Tabletop Audio, for your wonderful sounds.
You should just have more murders in the cathedrals.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I look around, try to spot her in case she's here.
Do you see her in and amongst the crowd?
Well, I'm looking for the dog, which I don't see.
Yeah, there's no dog and there's no armored person here anywhere.
Alright, I look forward eventually as one might in a church service and find my way out.
Why? Clearly you've never been to any church services that I've led. They're fantastic. Also fictional. Alright, so you leave the temple, seemingly lost her for the day. Now you've got 30 days, and we've only been through day 1 of 30.
I can always try to reacquire her after dinner.
Yeah.
Actually, I'll go to the, I'll change my appearance again. I'll go to the inn that isn't the Forester. As long as she's out and about, might as well take advantage of this. I'll go to the one that isn't the Forester. I'll even throw some dust on myself to be fresh off the road.
Mm-hmm.
Dressing as a traveler. I've got a wig on so that if I do happen to run into her, it's not so obvious.
Well, you're gonna have to talk to the bartender / innkeeper Roberta that's works in the tavern, because the inn doesn't actually have like a ground floor or common room, right? That's part of the tavern on the other side. So I'm gonna ask you to make me a disguise check, and I believe you make disguise checks at advantage because of your assassin class features. Right? No, because of your actor feat. You make all checks to disguise yourself at advantage. So 24 is fantastic.
All right.
Absolutely fantastic. They won't recognize you for who you are.
I'd like a room if you have one available.
Yes, of course. We most definitely have rooms available.
Thank you. Do you have something up on the third floor? I like the view at it.
She ponders. Ponder. Private room or shared room?
I want to see the price for a private room.
Well, we have 2 private rooms available, a medium one and a large one. And we have 2 shared rooms available, a pair and a trio. Now, one person has checked into the pair room, and one person has checked into the trio room right now. So you would only be staying with 2 people in either one, or one other person in either one.
Could I go see these rooms, please?
I suppose why not? So she will take you to these other rooms. I'm gonna use our maps with reduced vision. So she'll lead you up the back staircase on the south side, which comes, I think it just comes directly here. I don't think it even has a stop on the second. Oh yeah, it does have a stop on the second floor. Okay. So she leads you up the back staircase, past, there's one door there, they ignore it, and you go up the staircase again to the 3rd floor here. And she will show you in. To the right here is one of the smaller rooms. This is the room with just 2 people. It's a 15 by 10 room, very small. And then she goes and opens the door in front of you to this like much bigger, nice room with its own fireplace, bed, and tables.
I do say I want to like see each of the rooms.
Okay.
So when we go by the shared one with somebody checked in,
Yeah.
I am going to try to smell the smell of dog and or look for dog hairs or any dog related artifacts.
Okay. Searching for dogs. Give me an investigation check for that scent of dog or those lone dog hairs or a chewed up tennis ball or an old boot. Okay. So the Roberta will knock on the door, make sure that no one's in there, open it very quickly for you just to pop your head in and look around.
Is there a window?
There's a window on the right over here, and one right here.
Okay.
The south-facing one doesn't have much of a view. It kind of hits a building right here, but the east-facing one looks out over this rooftop, and you get a much better view from this window. But that's nothing like the room to the north, the private room. This is the best room that we offer, actually, and it has the best views. You can see through 2 eastern windows and 1 northern one, and we'll have a great view of just the whole village and town. It's just wonderful.
Oh, how much is this one?
15 silver a night.
Oh, it does get a lot of. Why don't I see the others too?
Of course.
It's a little odd how the bed is way in that nook. Why is it like that?
You would have to ask the architect. This was built long before I was born. There was a man named Gabriel something. Piccadillia. I just call him Gabe. And he designed the layout of this long before I inherited it. No idea why you would build a room like this, but
It must make it hard to make the bed.
Most certainly, but it also makes it fun to get in and out of the bed because you have to leap over the back rail. That's part of the fun of this room.
Oh,
Maybe.
I don't know if I enjoy fun.
And you wanted a third floor room.
Oh yes, fresh air and a nice view. I mean, when you're up on the third floor, you don't have to see other people out the windows.
Right,
They
right,
aren't
of course.
looking at you.
So she'll take you back downstairs, back out to the front of everything, going up the first staircase, which goes back and forth for a little while until you get to the third floor, which is over here. And she will come to this doorway and give it a knock. Hearing no one replying, she'll open it, and the two of you can step in, and she can say, "This is our other room. 3 beds, communal living space. One other person is here for a few nights. 2 windows, both with fantastic views of the town, west facing too, so you can get that sunset view, and you won't be woken up by the early morning sun. You know, it's wonderful."
All right, can I investigate to look for any dog sign?
You rolled a 14, so in this room as well, you do not see any sign of dogs or dog hair or anything.
These are the only 2 third floor rooms that she
Oh,
said.
no. One more. Hold on. She walks
Are these
past.
the only 2 that she said had other people, or?
Yes. This room back up here, and the other one would be the ones that you would share with others. And then there's that big room, which would be to yourself. And she leads you past these 2 doors down to this one, which is also for a single, with 2 south-facing windows and its own fireplace.
Oh, these look out towards the river. There's no buildings where someone could see inside.
Right. Isn't that what you wanted?
Yes. It's always good not to be bothered by people.
Wonderful.
How much is this room?
This room will be 8 silver a night.
Oh, it's much cheaper than the other one, too.
Oh, it definitely is, yes. It has half as many chests for storing gear, and half as many tables, and half as many rounded up windows, so we just cut the price in half and rounded up. It's also about half as much floor space.
But there are twice as many ways to get out of the bed.
Yes, there are. Well, only if you're comfortable climbing over a chest, which some might not be, but the wide side of the bed is much easier to climb over than the short side of the bed. And there's no rails in the way.
Yes, I do like this room.
Excellent. How long will you be staying?
Oh. Well, perhaps as long as a week.
Very well, then. Let's see. 8 silver times 7 days is 56 silver for a week here. Why don't we just call it 55 for ease of...
Well,
call it a discount.
Why don't I pay for 3 days first? It depends on how my business goes. Mainly, I just want to do my business, but, you know, some people try to mix business with pleasure. I'm hoping that can be avoided.
Of course. Whatever you say. And you can get the room for 3 days. You pay up your 24 silver. You have 11,960 copper left, or 119 gold, 6 silver, and 0 copper if you want to count it that way. But that's just such a mouthful. It's way easier to say 11,960 than 119 gold, 6 silver, 0. I mean, the syllables. It's so much easier just to say.
Or you could just say 119 gold and kind of round it.
You could just say 11,960 if you want to be precise. It's way easier. Anyway.
Yeah.
You have yourself your very own in-room here. We are going to go to our second break. When we come back, we will do a little bit more assessing and figuring out, and hopefully come up with a plan. So, We will see you on the other side of a break. Bye-bye. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Assassin. So, Assassin, you are here in this room where you have rented for the time being. Poke up here. There are these two doors here, one leading into that way and one leading to this way, that were not given as options to you whatsoever. There is this room that you've been in before, with the 3 beds, close quarters, very tight. And then there was the room over here, the other smallish room, and then the very large room. So these are the 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms that you've been in, plus the 2 hallways.
All right. But I haven't seen a room that the Queen's cousin would rent, although there are 2 rooms I haven't seen.
Yeah, there are these 2 rooms here that she did not mention were available. Who they're rented to, who knows, although Allie did say she has a room at this inn on the 3rd floor. So either she was lying despite your really good deception check, your natural 20, modified 26, and a paladin of law and order lying to you, or she's in one or both of those rooms. Though it'd be difficult to stay in 2 rooms at the same time.
Maybe one is for the dog.
Yes, very possible. I always get a room for my pets when I stay somewhere else.
Well, you wouldn't, but apparently Oprah got a room just for her pets, when, like during some fire or something.
Maybe if it's for some fire and you're like out of town and you want your pets to have a safe place, I could see that. But not if you're traveling with them. Right? I would want my pets in my room with me.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, this is a woman who puts cars under seats, so...
I really was impressed by that miniaturization technology. That's just amazing. To put an entire car into an envelope? I mean...
Well, here's the part they didn't show you. Those were giants.
The Romanian giants, and then, okay.
Yeah. So those cars were pretty useless to them, except as, I guess, sort of a Hot Wheels Matchbox kind of way. I guess.
Kind of fun. All right.
Seems
like you could have just given Hot Wheels to regular-sized people and had the same effect.
See, that's why you're not Hollywood's most powerful woman, Neil.
That is the only reason.
The only reason that you aren't the most powerful woman in Hollywood.
Yeah.
All right. So we've narrowed it down to 2. I am going to go down to the river. Well, I'm going to go down, change back into my normal outfit.
Mm-hmm.
Go down to the river, see if I can find some kids willing to sell me a fish for Sophie.
You can indeed get a fish for Sophie, yes.
All right, I'll go up and feed Sophie.
Oh, I've been abandoned for days.
Oh, it's still the first day.
You barely paid attention to me last episode. The DM's gonna kill me soon.
I've been paying very good attention and remembering to actually feed you, and not just assuming that was... Don't worry, Sophie. I'm going to take good care of you. You're the thing that humanizes my otherwise despicable, flat-out evil character. Yes.
Evil's relative. You might be the best person here. All right, so you get a fish for Sophie.
And I am going to go back to play at the tavern.
Yes.
Yeah,
the one where I met Allie before. I figure if this might be where she would come for dinner. So I'll play again.
Sure. Here is the tavern. So you can be hanging out here playing. Sure enough, she does stop by for dinner. Takes her the same spot that she had before in this back corner. You're probably up here at the front playing, so everyone can see you.
All right. I will do my best, and let's see if my best is good enough.
What is your best, though? Oh, you're playing best. Yes, that's very good. Well done.
And I shall include in my set Bulgarius the Magic Dragon.
Bulgarius the Magic Dragon. It's a good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Although a lot of people say it's not actually about a dragon, but
Right.
and I'll look over at her a little bit during the song and give a sly nod.
She seems... She's not paying close attention to you as a performer or to the other things going on around her so much. She seems a little contemplative. You know, kind of lost in her own thoughts.
Okay. I think what she has been up to. Well, I'll finish up my set, and hopefully I can make enough to pay for the room for the night.
Maybe, yeah. And what else? I mean, you've got 30 days. This is still day one.
Do I remember what she was drinking before? What she ordered when I said drinks on the table on me?
Yes, she too was drinking apple cider.
All right, I shall ask Roberta for 2 apple ciders.
Excellent.
And I will go down and sit beside her.
They bring you the ciders, fresh from the Mercana family orchards. And you go to sit next to her, and she comes out of her, lost thoughts and looks and gives you
What's got you down? You look like a child who's just found out the dragons aren't real.
No problems.
Well, that's good to hear. And if there are any, well, maybe this will help chase a few away.
Thank you. She takes it, and she already has a drink, so she just kind of sets it near her and continues sipping her own.
All right. And I'll try to engage her in conversation, small talk, see if I find any opening. Try to find out what she's been doing. Talk a little bit about my day, but again, I'm sort of setting up conversational opportunities without directly asking her.
Sure. She stays a little quiet. She finishes her food. She finishes the drink that she had before you showed up with yours, and doesn't touch yours at all, and politely excuses herself, albeit abruptly, the moment her plate is cleared. As if she's kind of like half having the conversation, but really only because you're here and she's too polite to drive you off.
All right.
And then, doesn't even go for the drink you brought and leaves quickly.
Okay. If when it becomes clear that she's going to leave, if you're not going to take your drink, do you mind if I have it?
It's all yours.
Go to waste. Okay. I'll make sure she sees me drinking it before she leaves, in case she thought I was an assassin poisoning her.
Right. She does head southward and just leaves to go to her own room.
All right. I will
go back to my room, don with disguise, and I'll stroll around the other inn, and I'm looking for third floor, like anywhere where there might be between those two rooms.
So
which one has a light on? I see.
Okay, I'm a little. Now you have two rooms at two different inns. So when you say you go back to your room, which room are you referring to?
Not at the Forester. I can't remember the name of the other one.
The Last Home. Okay.
Last Home. Okay. So I'll just sort of stroll around the Last Home, and I'm trying to look for those two third floor rooms to see which one might have a candle or something going on there.
Yeah, there is a light coming from underneath.
Going around the outside there.
Going around from the outside?
Yeah, first, see if I can see anything.
Sure. So you will see that there is a light on in the room with 3 beds.
Yeah. I'm looking for those. I'm going to guess that as the queen's cousin, that she's going to be in one of those 2 other rooms. That I'm particularly looking at those.
Right. So you do see a light on in the room with 3 beds, and that is it on the 3rd floor.
Nothing else.
Yep.
All right. I'm going to go, again, I'm in disguise back up to my room on the 3rd floor of the Last Home.
Mm-hmm.
And once I go in, I am going to listen very carefully, see if I can discern noise and hear those 2.
Why don't
I
you
share a wall with each of those, right?
You do share a wall with each of those, yes. Why don't you make me a perception check to see if you can hear anything through the wall? First on this left room over here, so one perception check for that.
All right.
12. You don't hear anything going on through that wall. And one more for the room on the right. Ooh. Yeah, you do hear something there. It sounds like a squeaking. Maybe like wood being moved, or someone rocking in a chair, or leaning on a table, or moving there's a lot of squeaky sounds in a room.
But I don't hear any dog toenails on wood.
No.
That would be sort of the distinctive sound for me to hear.
That would be that'd be pretty distinctive. This might be her room, and the dog is just not walking around. Or the dog's out.
All right, I'm going to go out and walk by the room with 3 beds and try to make a quick listen.
Go ahead and press your ear to the door. Make me a perception check. There's some soft muttering, as if someone is occasionally talking to themselves.
A female voice? Could it be Allie?
No, it is a male voice.
All right. No sound of Beowulf. Well, I hate to do this, but we all must play our roles. I'm going to go back over to the Forester.
Uh-huh.
I'll go up to my room and I'll say, Sophie, it is time to earn your fish. And I will take Sophie with me back over to the Last Home. And I'll walk through the halls, and I'm paying attention to Sophie. I know Sophie pretty well here. If Sophie notices any smells or anything that seem to agitate her or make her pay a little more attention. I'm trying to use Sophie as a dog detector.
Trying to use Sophie as a dog detector. All right, give me an animal handling check for how well you can try and read her and get her to detect. She's a fickle cat. So well. Yeah, sure enough, the dog detector goes off. As you're walking the halls, Sophie stops and sniffs at this door a little bit. She ignores everything else, but she stops and then just keeps walking. You know, it's the briefest of pauses, but it's definitely at that doorway.
3 meters, man. That's inside the room. All right. So.
Exactly.
So I'll settle down and I'll say very quietly so that someone in the other room won't hear me.
Mm-hmm.
And dear Sophie, you have earned yourself the biggest fish I can find tomorrow. And I shall take Sophie back to the room of the forester.
All right. So let's check in with everything that you know about your target right now. You know that she's at least 5th level. She has 17 charisma. You have noticed that she's right-handed. She carries her shield in her left. You know what room she's staying in, or at least you're 99.9% sure what room she's staying in town. Anything else?
That's all I've got.
Alright.
Know that she has used up some charges of her lay on hands.
Mm-hmm.
But not enough that she would still have plenty to cure herself with.
Right, and a long rest is once a week, so if these are the first charges that she's used, you have 7 days until they are restored.
Yes.
Or refreshed, because it's a long rest.
So, I'm going to go outside now that I know which room it is and try to observe which windows lead into that room. And you said I
will give me an investigation check. Actually. You know, you walk around the circumference of the building and you count the windows and you're like, I don't know which one leads to her. You're having a hard time finding the... Now, I can give you the outside view and you can walk around yourself and decide what you want.
All right. I am going to go back inside. I'm going to go up to my window from the inside. And I'm going to set... what do I have? This board. You know what? There must be like a chamber pot or something. I'm just going to set a chamber pot on the windowsill of my room, so I can mark which window is mine. I know that where her room is in relation to mine, and I'll go back outside and examine the inn, look for my windowsill with the chamber pot on the sill.
Sure.
Figure out her room from there.
Perfect. So here you are on the outside. I think you should be able to see windows. Yeah, there are these slightly off-colored sections. You might have to zoom in to see them. So you can go ahead and walk around the perimeter of the building.
But my room is on the
south side.
The far side of this, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so where's my room?
This would be your window. These two right here.
All right. So these two, or at least one of these windows, would be hers, the room right next to us. Judging from what I know from the layout inside, does that seem accurate?
You failed your investigation check, so I can't help you. I have to leave you to your own devices here.
All right. So I don't see any light up there.
Correct.
On this side, do I see any light at any of those windows?
No.
She definitely came back. Or she definitely left dinner, but she didn't go to her room. Is that the one I heard muttering in, or the squeaking noises? The room that
you heard squeaking noises from the room that Sophie pinged off on.
And that's the room next to me.
That's the room next to you. The muttering was from the room with 3 beds in the upper left corner.
Squeaking noises.
Yeah, like a squeaky chair or a squeaky table or some sort of movement that produces a slight noise in response.
Should be sitting in the dark. I assume it's night, it's dark. I'm not just
it's evening. You're not walking around in the daylight looking for a candle.
Alright. Interesting. I'll look around for places to climb. For easy access. I'm not going to climb yet, but I'm looking at what are the easiest, most concealed places.
Sure.
I'm going to walk around and find, oh my god, the world ends!
I'm going to bring you to the other map. Let me just get it all set up for us here.
The nothing is taking over. The alert, the childlike empress.
All right, here we go. So this is the building that you've been exploring and searching around. So on the south side, you just have this little farmhouse and a bridge over the river, and this fairly open alleyway with no barrels or boxes or anything in it on the south side.
What's this building on the south side?
This building, it looks like someone's private residence, actually. Yeah, it's some little peasant hut.
All right.
A 2-story building.
Floor again?
2-story building.
All right, there's a window out there if I were to climb up on that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but I could basically climb up on the south side, and there's no freaking windows.
No windows there. No windows there. Yeah.
All right, so that's the concealed way up if I need it.
I mean, someone might see you from across the way, perhaps.
Well, I'm thinking more midnight-ish.
Mm-hmm. All right.
All right. Blah 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 blah. Dark. What is the squeaking? Are there dragons?
There are dragons. Yes, they're a real thing. I promise you.
And dogs look up.
Yes, they can. Is there anything other information you want about her person, her character, before you try and make your move, or are you ready to find her room?
I want to know what she's doing in general. I need... I mean, the more I know, the more I can set something up.
Right.
As far as making my move here, I would need for her to be asleep. I don't want to fight a dog and a paladin at the same time. Heard the dog. I'm gonna wait until the wee hours of the morning after midnight. I'll listen again. I'll keep listening, paying attention to that squeaking. Maybe she's got a rocking chair. And try to wait until I hear no more sound in that room, and then I'll wait longer.
Cool. So you go back to your room, is what you said you were doing?
Yes.
All right. You come back into your room, and you're waiting for the rocking sounds to fade?
Yeah, for any sounds to fade.
Yeah. It gets late. It gets really late. And eventually the sounds in that room draw to a close. It's got to be like well past midnight, 1, 2 a.m. sort of thing.
Huh.
And it's nice and quiet.
Is there a Church of a Stair in town?
There is a generalist temple in town, but there is no dedicated temple to a stair in town.
I wonder if she had some revelation that the assassin was close. What you think this? He's doing something. All right. Let's say an hour after she is no longer making noise in there, can I climb out my window and kind of ease my way along?
It's going to be 20 feet to the next window over. I'm going to need you to make me a climbing check. But I don't think climb is a score straight up, so I'll need you to make me an athletics or acrobatics check. Now you have a boots of, what is it? Gloves of swimming and kinding.
Although the gloves are swimming in.
Yeah. That just lets you move at regular speed.
Does it give me advantage or help at anything?
CGE, gloves of swimming and climbing. While wearing these gloves, your climbing and swimming doesn't cost you extra movement, and you gain a +5 bonus to strength, athletics checks made to climb or swim. So give me an athletics check to climb with a +5 bonus.
All right, I'll roll it, then we'll add a 5.
Perfect. So 17 is quite good. You can slip out the window. Boop.
All right, and I'm going to try to very quietly. Yeah, and I know that the dog might hear or something, so I'm just being very slow, very careful. I take a peek in.
Sure, it's dark in here. There's no light on the inside. In fact, the only light is the moonlight and starlight from outside. So you don't really see anything. Just dark.
Okay, I try to let my eyes adjust for a while.
Sure. After a minute or two, no one spots you, and your eyes adjust well enough to see that this is actually a hallway. This is that stairwell that led to those other rooms over there.
Her room does not have a window?
My God. It's not up to code.
Well, I'm just thinking in terms of light, and they don't have electric lights here.
Nope. No
There's
lights.
no other place that could have a window.
That's what it looks like. It looks like she has an interior room with no lighting or ventilation.
All right.
Yeah, because this is your hallway, and then your room is right here. No?
All right. So I am going to go to bed.
Hey, go to bed.
Next morning, I'm going to be up bright and early as much as I can. I can take a nap during the day if I need to.
Sure. So you give me a. I want to crash out at like 4 in the morning or 2 in the morning and try and wake up early is a difficult thing. Give me a Constitution check or something.
They provide like a pitcher of water in the room.
Maybe, I don't know. Give me some sort of check to see if you can actually force yourself to wake up with a 2-4 hour nap early in the morning.
Whether there's a pitcher of water is going to be important to that.
I don't think they provide a pitcher of water unless it's requested. She didn't bring a pitcher of water up when she gave you your room.
All right, I am going to go down to the river, fill my wineskin while it's still dark here.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back up and drink that full wineskin of water, and then go to sleep, knowing that I'm going to wake up having to pee in just a few hours. That gives me advantage on a check.
Yes.
To wake up early.
Yes. But if you somehow fail miserably, if the really low rolls, you'll wet the bed.
All right, so Constitution check with advantage.
Yes, advantage. Ah, you're fine.
All right.
Really wanted you to.
Don't have to change the sheets. Okay. So it wakes me up early. I probably have a dream about having to pee for like the last half hour of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Then I will go down. First things first. Well, no one's going to have a fish available for me yet. And I will go and get paladin seat for the risers. Get breakfast at the inn.
Sure. You go and get your breakfast. You see Allie down there in the common room, associating with people.
Interesting. Who is she associating with? I don't try to sit by her.
There's-
I look a bit hungover and like not happy with the morning.
Yeah, there is a regular-looking civilian sort of feller. He's an older gentleman, and Allie is chatting with him while he's seems to have approached her, and she's having breakfast while this guy is talking to her.
Okay, I'll see if I can listen in. He's like asking feeling or telling her about some important news.
Yeah, give me a perception check to hear the conversation from your vantage point. Oh, very, very good. So you're maybe over at this table, something over here. And you can hear the older gentleman. He's wringing his hands back and forth. He's got a pair of gloves that he's tucked into his belt, and he's saying, Matt, I'm just... She's such a good girl, and it's been... I just know that someone like you could do something for her. Please, please, anything you could do to help. She doesn't deserve this life that she leads. And Allie's like slowly nodding and listening and says, well, I will finish my breakfast. I will commune with my God. And when I return this afternoon from my prayers, I will check in on your daughter. Can she be moved? Bring her here, so I don't have to find you in town. And we'll see what we can do. But Astaire is a god of justice and law and order. He is not a healer. I will do what I can for you as long as it is within the bounds of my ethos and my order. And he nods eagerly and bows 1,000 times and walks out of the room, bowing and scraping and thanking her.
All right. I will drag out my breakfast for a while. Not observing her, not going over to engage her, just seeming like I'm nursing a hangover. I ask for whatever is the hottest sauce they have. If they've got one with a mariachi dude on it, then that's the best. Get some tomato juice if they've got it. Just look like I'm not enjoying life.
All right. There is indeed some salsa here.
Sauce with a mariachi?
Hold on. There is hot sauce. I'm checking on the mariachi myself. Here. Not how... Is that not how it's spelled? Oh, this isn't gonna work out.
Have no
All right.
tapatio?
No, they've got Alta Marino salsa. Sorry.
All right, it'll have to do.
That's why I couldn't find it. Okay, I withdraw my statement. It is not Alta Marino salsa. It is Mesa salsa, is what it's called.
It's not made in New York City, is it?
No. No, it is not. It is made in a small little village that no one's ever heard of, right on the cliffs, called Saint Barbara. Yep. Don't know who the Saint Barbara is, but she makes a really good hot sauce and salsa and calls it Mesa salsa.
All right, then. So I shall go ahead, wait for her to leave.
Mm-hmm.
Which way does she go when she leaves?
She'll head the same direction she did last time. She'll head out through the main street and head up the main road northward.
All right. I am going to follow her out when I get to this alley. Is there anybody in this alley either way?
Sorry, hold on. My browser blinked on me for a moment and everything's falling apart. You're saying that alley?
Yes.
No, there's no one in that alley. It is abandoned.
And none down the other side of the alley?
Correct.
Okay, I believe it says, like, with a disguise kit and everything, I can make can I make kind of an on-the-fly disguise pretty quickly, like...
Sure, but I'm going to get rid of your advantage for it. Because you're just trying to do a quick change.
All right. Yeah, so I'm flipping my cloak color and I'm putting on a hood.
Turning your wig around backwards, so you've got like the long bangs and... Oh, wonderful. 15 on your disguise.
Alright. And I will try to pop back out and follow her at a distance. I'm trying to stay like 100 feet back.
Okay. So you're trying to keep a distance and yet still be able to see where she goes. So I'm going to ask you to make me a stealth check and a perception check together. You know, I mean, separately. You don't have to roll them at the exact same second, but those two checks. Oh. You. All right. You definitely see which way she's going. She heads up the same route that she took last time, all the way to the north, past that little northern market square, heads up and hooks a left, and then heads up and out of town on the west side of town. Terrible line. I can draw straighter lines than that. But we are out of time today.
Yes.
So we are gonna sit on this information, and when we come back next week, we will see if that is enough information for you to complete your mission, or if you're gonna need more info, and what other things you can find, and where the hell is she going down this route, out into the boonies.
I want to find that out, but I'm starting to have a plan.
Alright. So that is going to be it for us for Assassin this week. Rob, do you have any final words? Any final conspiracy theories or treasonous statements that you would like to make about the existence of kings or dragons or knights or swords or, you know?
I said it in a zone of truth. Dragons were made up by big two-handed sword. I don't know what more you want. I took the zone of truth test.
Yeah, and you cheated. Zone of Truth is not infallible, all right? You must have cheated. All right. And it also makes you say the truth, which is really relative to what you think. It is possible for you to truly believe that dragons aren't real. It doesn't make you magically say things that are true.
It's not a zone of opinion, Neil. It's a zone of truth.
Truth is a relative statement. There is no such thing as objective truth in the world. Does not exist. And with that, we will leave you.
Fake news to me, Neil.
We'll leave you, and we'll see you next week, next Wednesday, for more Assassin. Goodbye, everybody.
All right.